G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because you can tell I am not happy. And Super Rugby is basically becoming a joke at this point. And so yeah, let's go through some of the things that is happening in Super Rugby right now. And you know, it's first up, this should be in the news, and it's not, because there was very obvious cheating that happened on the weekend from the Crusaders. They abused the HRA system and allowed an extra substitution to give the Will Jordan a break in the second half. Essentially, Will Jordan just came back from injury. This is the first game back from like a 1 month or 3 weeks injury, and he's essentially probably not allowed to play the full 80 minutes. So they don't want their number 10, Rayhana, who haven't played the whole season 80 minutes at all, to play full 80 minutes. So essentially, they faked him a HRA to take him off the game 10 minutes before halftime, and then basically gave him a 20-minute break for the 10 minutes for the HIA and the 10 minutes during halftime for him to return immediately at kickoff in the second half. So they gave him a 20-minute break, allowing James O'Connor to come on the first half for 10 minutes as the fly half, and then second half to replace Will Jordan as a fullback. And this is very obvious cheating, because the incident that led into the HIA for Rayhana, the starting number 10 for the Crusaders, it's just a maul, and he went in for a pretend clean out. We can watch it right here, and you can decide if a HIA is warranted for whatever happened here to Rayhana, the number 10. Here's the number 10. He came in, he did a pretend clean out. He's right there. He's right there. That's like, you know, that's it. Like, that's it. That's it. And the Crusaders scores a try. That is the incident that led into a HIA. You tell me if that is anywhere warrants a HIA, right? Now, they have those mouth guards, right? So you might say, oh, maybe the mouth guard like made a mistake, misread the contact or something, misread something, and he's been taken off because of that. Now, if that is the case, based on what we saw, he should be back onto the field in 5 minutes. They would have gone off and look at him going, oh, you're absolutely fine. It's just an error on the mouth guard. Back on the field you go. Not a 10-minute break. It is clearly cheating. It is clearly cheating. And also, I pointed this out as well. The person that came onto the field to pull Rayhana off the field is the medic. Is the medic from the Crusaders. So he's taking the penalty kick. Like you can see, it's about 11 minutes left. So the maximum allowed time for HIA is 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So they have timed it just under 12 minutes to take him off the field, so that he gets the... Look. It's a Crusaders coach came on to take him off the field, right? The Crusaders assistant staff coming off to take him off the field. Not an actual independent doctor. You can see it. He's wearing the Crusaders kit. He's come on and say, here we go, coming off the field. Let's come off. Come off for HIA. And he's off. He's gone. Exactly 11 minutes off the field. The maximum allowed time, 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Maximum allowed time, 12 minutes. And in fact, it's probably over 12 minutes because it says 12 minutes actual time. So he's actually off for more than 12 minutes, even by actual time during the game, because there's stoppage for other, you know, scrums and shit. They now pause the clock. It's actually longer than 12 minutes. So they actually, even by the 12-minute time frame, he's out, he's beyond the allocated time frame. That's just the bullshit you see in Super Rugby. And nobody cares. Nobody cares about the blatant cheating that happened. And in the second half, obviously, you can go watch the replay. Will Jordan came off, and James O'Connor went back on again to play as a fullback, and Rayhana played the entire second half with no issues. Just complete fake HIA for abuse of the system. And pretty sure last time they did this fake stuff with fake blood with tomato sauce or something to get people blood being was serious offense. Someone needs to look into this, but hey, no one cares. It's Super Rugby because it's a joke, right? Let's move on. Another joke that's happening on Super Rugby as well. Swat Lee apparently is going to be announced as part of the as a fullback for Team of the Year for Super Rugby. The guy, like, first of all, he had like one really good game, right? And he's injured for literally half the season, and he somehow gets a spot ahead of Tom Wright. I mean, who cares about Super Rugby anymore, right? All you're doing is trying to like, everybody who watches the sport knows this is bullshit. You're pandering to people who don't watch the sport, to rugby league viewers who won't watch the sport anyway, who don't like the sport. You're pandering the sport to people who don't like the sport while pissing off everybody who actually watches the sport. And you wonder why the sport is dying. Think about the players who like did really, worked hard all season, and to get at the end of it to be like, yeah, sorry, the other guy has a bigger paycheck than you. He's more marketable than you. He gets the spot over your actual hard work. It's absolute fucking joke. And you wonder why people are going overseas and no one gives a shit about playing for the Wallabies. Because it's a joke. Because this whole system is a fucking joke. Super Rugby is a fucking joke. The Wallabies is becoming a fucking joke. Because of fucking shit like this. Why would a player putting his body on the line every weekend only to get stiffed by this bullshit? Someone who hasn't even played the whole season. Who didn't even play. Was sat on the bench of the whole fucking season. Why would anyone stick their hand out for that? Why wouldn't people want to go play overseas for another country who actually respect them, who actually recognizes them for their efforts? What a fucking joke. Moving, I'd said, look, Moana Pacifica as well is becoming a funnel team for people going overseas, which is not supposed to be the purpose of the team. There's 12 people leaving for overseas. Nobody wants to play in Super Rugby. Nobody wants to stay around and stay around and potentially be named in a national team. They got Fa'amau Silly, former Melbourne Rebel, former Wallaby, gone overseas. Don't want to stay. Why would they want to stay? Why would they want to stick around? One good news, this guy, this moron finally getting removed. He's gone. Mark Robinson, the CEO of the All Blacks, one of the big reasons on the other side of the Tasman that Super Rugby is becoming a fucking joke. This guy, just so you know, if you don't know this guy, he named the replacement for the All Blacks head coach, Ian Foster, before the Rugby World Cup. He basically told Fozzie, you're fired before the Rugby World Cup. And Ian Foster was like, what, 1 point away from winning the Rugby World Cup? That's the respect, the culture that this guy leads at the most prestigious rugby team in the world. Taking the word respect, putting it into the fucking drain, and then taking a shit on it. And not even flushing, just leaving it there. That's what this guy did for the All Blacks. And then this is the guy that sold the All Blacks to Silver Lake. By the way, you're never getting that back. The All Blacks will forever be owned by Americans. They're never going to sell it back to you. They're never going to sell it back to you. You can dream. You can pay double the money. They're not going to sell it back to you. And then this guy putting test matches overseas. The Rugby Championship is basically getting cancelled next year because they want to do a tour to South Africa, right? Just, fuck the Bloodless World Cup. Fuck the Rugby Championship. Fuck the stakeholders, fuck the fans in Australia. Let's just go overseas. Let's play one Bloodless Law. It's good enough. Let's go milk the money in South Africa instead, right? And a lot of you saying, oh, love that idea. The Bloodless World Cup used to play with 4 test matches. Just remember that. Look at where it is now. Look at where the fuck the Bloodless World Cup is after they play 4 test matches about 10 years ago. Wait till that happens to you with the Springboks. You think they're never going to happen? That's what they thought with Bloodless Law. Australia and New Zealand rivalry, never gonna die. Come on. The two countries have been like brothers since World War II, since like colonial days. Never gonna die. Oh, it's fucking dead now, isn't it? Wait and see. The rivalry between the all milked every penny out of it before it's the end. And that's what this guy did. Right? Yeah. And the the black jersey, right? Putting Ultrad, right? Ultrad on it. The CEO, the name of the CEO, who literally is in jail in France for corruption with the French rugby, right? And put the name on the black jersey, right? Like, fucking disgraceful. Fucking disgraceful. Like, I would be ashamed. Like, I would be ashamed to have a name of someone in jail in the middle of the fucking most prestigious jersey in the world, right? And this guy did it. This guy did it for money, right? He will do whatever the fuck he takes for money. Anyway, fuck. I am super fucking angry today. Let's move on. Yeah, Super Rugby aside, Mike Hoops is deciding not to return to play against the Lions for the Anzac game. He just don't think that he's going to be in shape because he's going to have like a 10-week break after the Japan season, and he just don't think that it's going to be, you know, a pleasant experience for him to play at the national. Come on, Hoops. It's the Lions. You can just, come on, Hoops. I think he should reconsider, but I think he's made his mind. I mean, again, he's respectful. He wants, obviously, opportunity for younger players, for other players. He's played against the Lions. He don't want to, you know, hog the spotlight. Again, very, very admirable stuff from Hooper. Something that Super Rugby and the management from both sides of the Tasman don't seem to fucking have announced. So yeah, Hooper, once again, should probably take over Rugby Australia at this point. So, you know, hats off to you for showing respect for other people, for having an opportunity against the Lions. Yeah, so he basically said he's already played against Lions. This opportunity should go for other people. So Caleb Clark has signed with the Blues for till 2027, which is really big. He's a big time player for not just the Blues, but for Super Rugby. So I just accidentally closed the tab. But yeah, Super Rugby this weekend. The final is between semi-finals between Chiefs versus the Brumbies in Hamilton, and you've got the Crusaders versus what happened here to me? I got a black eye here. Crusaders versus the Blues in Christchurch after the Blues obviously toppled the Chiefs on the weekend in an upset. So yeah, I guess the Blues can't play the Chiefs again, so they have to play the other team, and they end up playing with the other seed, which is the Crusaders. Anyway, Lumape has returned, the former All Black, to sign with the Moana Pacifica, so 2-year deal. Obviously, Adi Savea has been very inspirational, so drawing back some of these All Black names to return and potentially, go play for representing the islands in the national level as well. Tamati Williams was injured on the weekend. He's not named to play against the Blues this weekend. He was pretty huge. We saw just then he's the one that scored the try following the fake HIA. So he's going to be out. The Chiefs, though, it's getting a big boost against the Brumbies. Luke Jacobson returns with Quinn Tupaia. So Tupaia, we thought he was going to be out for a long time, but he's just had a bit of a head knock. So he's back to playing this weekend, which is really good to see. We really want to see him back in the black jersey again. And then you've got the Brumbies, naming an unchanged team from last week after they beating the Hurricanes. So yeah, it's going to be all a pretty decent semi-final for the Super Rugby top sides there as well. So anyway, Dr. Rasmus has named a 54-man squad for the Springboks. Obviously, the July, they got a pretty light load. They got a test against the Barbarians and then against Portugal? Is it Portugal or Italy? They have I think it was against Italy. Yeah, Italy and Georgia. Pretty light warm-up leading to the Rugby Championship. But yeah, 9 new names and a huge squad. And should I go through the whole name? There's a lot of people here. But yeah, it's just, I think there was a late replacement. Hanacom was injured. So then the, what's his name? The guy that missed out, Evan Ruiz, has been called in to replace Hanacom. So some injuries. Actually, let's just go through the name for the Springboks. A new guy, Gerano Augustus, has been called into the forwards. Lou Diarra is back, actually. He has been out for quite a while. Renzo Duplessis, Jean-Luc Dupriez, Peter Step Dutoy, Thomas Dutoy, Ibn Etzebeth, Neithling Foch, Cameron Hanacom, he's out. John Klein, Vincent Koch, Siak Lisi, Wilco Lowe, Malcolm Marks, Bungi Bunabi, and Tuku Mchunu, the big boy from the Sharks, Salman Morat, Franco Mostard, Ox Nche, Ruan Nokia, Asenathi Ntalabakani. Wow, that's a difficult one. Huaga Smith, Achias Neyman, Gergas Dinekamp, Vincent Sui Tuka, I don't know how to pronounce that, Marco van Staden, Manus van der Merwe, Jan-Hendrik Wessel, Kobus Visa, and Jasper Visa as well. Why can't people have names like easy names like Jasper Visa, right? Just a typical South African name that everybody can read, right? Anyway, in the back line, we've got Lukamyo Kurdi Arensa, Damien Dialenda, Faf de Klerk, Andre Esterhuizen, Apalele Fasi, Sasha Fanbuk Ngomezulu, Jordan Hendricksa, Ethan Hooker, Quan Horn, Cheslin Kobe, Jesse Krill, Billy LaRue, Mani Labok, Makazolo Mapimpi, Ntukozo Makaza, Kana Moody, Andre Pollard, Kobus Reinach, Morne van der Berg, Edwin van der Merwe, Damien Willemse, the greatest Springbok in the history of the Springbok, before he had a finger injury. And then we got Grant Williams finishing off the backline. So I'm really looking forward for the greatest Springbok in history of Springbok, Damien Willemse, to play for the Springbok again. He's missed out for like a whole year now at this point. But yeah, it'll be good and to see him back in action. We're going to talk about this, bit of injury substitutions to Hanekom, and then some clarification has come out for the Japanese eligibility law. So there was like, the blood eligibility requirement that, supposedly was racist, and actually it's not really the case at all. So they've clarified it, and then there's some clarification of how this actually works. So essentially, Japan currently has 3 categories: Category A, Category B, Category C. A is basically Japanese players, and then players who are eligible to play for Japan as a resident. B is foreign players who are uncapped but are yet to meet eligibility to play for Japan. So they are like in Japan but like working towards, I guess, to play for Japan. Category C is just players that's already capped for players overseas that cannot play for Japan at all. So what they've done is they've taken Category A and split it into 2. So at the moment, there's too many players that are basically foreign players, but are registered to play for Japan essentially, and they've been considered as part of the Japan cohort whilst they're born overseas. So basically, category has been split into 2. A1 is essentially Japanese born, raised, and grew up in the system, and then you are basically Category 1A, which is the uncapped Japanese players. And then Category A2 is the players like Dylan Riley, who's born overseas, plays for Japan, but hasn't accumulated enough test caps, which is a 30 test cap limit. So if you play for Japan, but it's still under the 30 test cap limit, you've dropped down to A2, which means you are subject to the restrictions. So you need to play 30 test caps for Japan to become A1, to be fully considered a Japanese local and being outside of the quota. And then that's basically the change. They've split the Category A into 2 segments. Now, at the moment, there's only 9 players allowed in the 23 to be outside of A1. So anybody who's not A1, you are falling to the cap of 9. 9 players out of the 23 is allowed to be overseas, as I guess non-Japanese players. So that just extends a lot of those players who were formerly considered part of the quota has now fallen into the quota, and that's basically the change to just level things out a little bit to stop too many foreign players from taking up the spots in domestic rugby for Japan. Next up are the English Premiership Final between Baths and Leinster. We've got Michael Checker potentially getting I think he's already won a premiership before, hasn't he? When he coached in England. But anyway, he's looking at potentially winning another one this weekend against Bath. And he's talking about not celebrating at all in the semi-final. He's just talking about keeping his heads on. He's reflected his experience at a Rugby World Cup final, losing to the All Blacks, to Beauden Barrett. Oh, go Beauden! To coming onto the field, snatching up his dream. And that was pretty painful. I agree, Checks. That's, they look like it could have been too easy, but the Wallabies going into that match, I knew it was going to be tough because literally the only team the Wallabies could not beat was the All Blacks. Even at the Blues World Cup that year, the All Blacks had our number, both away and at home. So I wasn't comfortable that they were going to beat the All Blacks in the Rugby World Cup final. But it was tough. It was tough, but I thought we had an opportunity for a comeback. But Beauden Barrett coming on, getting that loose ball, soccer skills. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. Anyway, Checkers reflected on that, learned his lesson. Don't want that happening for the Tigers this weekend. And it will be will be refereed by Mr. Carl Dixon. And this will be his first Premiership Final. So Carl Dixon has been doing a great job. I think he's, we've had some criticism of his performances in the past, but it's getting better. He's getting a lot better in recent times. And, he's definitely becoming one of the best referees in England, at least. Is getting up there, so he's getting a reward for his hard work. In the URC final, we've got Leinster finally breaking the semi-final drought to move into the final against the Bulls at home, so they're probably going to win it this year. And, not enough credits are given, I think. Geordie Barrett is obviously the reason that you're getting there, because Geordie Barrett, he's just a big-time player, never really fades, and somehow they only gave him 7 out of 10. I mean, Geordie Barrett deserves to be 10 out of 10 every bloody game, especially in these big matches. You just, like, the presence that he brings is more than, the number of carries you can see on a stat. And the communication and leadership, it's more than just how many carries is done in the game. I think that is the reason why, Leinster is in the semi-final. Next up, in the final, not semi-final, breaking through the semi-final. So Lions, there was an injury to Xander Fagerson, my starting tight end prop, my starting tight end prop. And he's going to be replaced by Finlay Bealham, who's also a pretty good replacement from Ireland. Next up, we've got, Brumbies named unchanged team for Super Semi-Final. We're going to talk about that. Fiji has named a test team for this weekend, for the July Test Series, and which included the retirement of their captain, Naya Kalevu, 34 years of age, has announced his retirement, so he won't be part of the team. So the speculation is who's going to be the next captain. I think it's going to be Inkanaveri, right? Tavita Inkanaveri, most likely person going to be, I think, the next captain for the Fijians. Let me know your thoughts on who could be the next captain. But I think, really, other than him, I don't think anybody else has that, that collective, I guess, that experience and the leadership for that he showed in Super Rugby as well. Yeah, I think anyway, let me know your thoughts if you think anybody else could be the captain for the team. Anyway, let's move on. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Fijian also signed Salese Riasi to the backline, who's a former under 20 All Black and Hurricanes. He's a really spectacular player, so he's joined the national team for the Fijian side in the squad as well. Scotland has announced a pretty experienced team for the July tour, and they are going to be heading to, where are they going actually? Anyway, so they, obviously with Fiji, Samoa, and the Maori All Blacks, pretty light tour for them as well. But yeah, they've got a few players overseas. I thought they would have selected more for a lineup like this. I mean, they do have some players in the Lions tour, but they should have probably selected more youngsters for this sort of tour. Like, there's really no risk of you losing any of these matches. Maybe Fiji will be the one that give you a bit of trouble, but this will be like in the islands, so it's gonna be maybe a bit hot. So yeah, maybe they don't want to be too light and actually lose a bunch of games and end up being a bit of an embarrassing trip. Argentina has announced a team as well. Julian Montoya is going to be the captain, and 32 players, and they will play the Lions at Aviva Stadium next week, and then before they head off, and then they will be playing against, who was it? They're going to be playing England for the tour for the summer, and then I think they'll finish off with Uruguay. Yeah, so 2 games is England, and then 1 game against Uruguay at home before the Rugby Championship as well. So you can go have a look at the names you want yourself. And then Stuart Lancaster has been named to coach Connaught after leaving in Racing 92. And then finally, we're going to talk about this. And that's it. That's the news for this week. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching the rant. I appreciate it. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you guys this weekend about the reviews for the games. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Cheers.